Okay, so when you're doing inlays, sometimes you want a matte black, and a lot of the times that you get specialised inlay material or use epoxies especially, you're going to get a sheen to it. So an easy way to make your own is to mix decorator's caulk with tattoo ink. If you get a black one, you'll be able to make a matte black that doesn't reflect. So you literally get a dollop of sealant that size. And the good thing about using tattoo inks is for like a tenner you can get 100 colours. So you can do some really intricate inlays. And on this one I think I'm going to go with like a silvery, oh there we go, platinum. Obviously if you spend money on the premium tattoo inks that I use for tattooing stuff like Kurosumi or Scream or Eternal Inks or anything like that, you're going to spend more. But for the cheap ones that you're not worried about whether they're any good for tattooing or not, you're just using them for ink, and it literally wells up like that. So dollop that size, I'm going to use, what was that, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 drops. And then I'm going to mix it together. And it's literally just a case of the more ink you add, the darker the tone will be. So just keep mixing until you're happy with the result. Now, and obviously decorator's caulking isn't going to be very good for inlays that need to function. So inlays that are like guitar necks or anything like that, you know, they're not going to be strong enough to cope with the pressure of the strings. But if it's just decorative, like this is going to be, then you literally can use wood glue if you really want. You want to mix it so you get a nice even tone. Unless you don't want to mix it so you get an even tone, and as you put it on you get a nice weird effect. Like an oil painting kind of effect, especially if you start from top to bottom. But for this, I want an even tone. So there we go. And again, if you use black, it'll give you a nice matte black finish. If you want a little bit of sheen to it, use instead of caulking, use bathroom sealant, and literally just dollop it on your wood and spread it around as required. So just for this demonstration I've done a quick inlay on a piece of birch firewood, plain down, and I've done the Phoenix channel logo. Just so you guys can see the sort of effect that this has on it. I will be doing how to inlay proper tutorials and everything like that, but for now just doing little short demonstrations of how things are and little tricks to get some really cool effects. And that dollop was probably twice the size that I needed for this. Now when you do this, if you leave it so it's slightly proud, like you would if it was poly filler, and that way you can sand it down when it's done and know that you're not going to have any bits that have shrunk as it's dried. Just take that clump off. But press it in so you don't get any air bubbles. And I'm literally just using the mixing stick to spread this on here. So, there we go. Looks like a right mess now, but leave that overnight to cure, and I will probably spend the next day getting it out from under my fingernails, and then we can sand it all flat. Okay, so it's the next day and this is now dry, and all we're going to do is sand it flush. So I've got 60 grit, 100 grit, and I think this is 240, and all I'm going to do is stick this to this, which is just a piece of wood that I've planed flat. I'm going to stick the 60 grit on half of this side and the 100 grit on the other half, and then I've got the finer grit on the back, and that just means that I'll be able to keep the surface flat as I sand it. So to get it stuck down, I'm going to use a technique that I use for all kinds of sticking down jobs, as opposed to using double-sided tape, which is masking tape and super glue, which you'll see me using quite a few videos. So all I'm going to do is stick masking tape to the wood. And make sure it's all covered. I'm going to burnish it with the bottom of the super glue, and this basically just bonds it so that it's really tight against it and keeps it nice and flat. And if you try to use double-sided tape, a lot of the time you'll get like a sticky residue when you remove it. This way, I don't get any residue and it just peels off. But horizontal motion against it means it doesn't move, so it won't slip. So now all I'm going to do is measure out my sandpaper to about halfway and cut it. I don't like tearing sandpaper, because then you end up with a wasted section. And then, because it's rolled up, I'm just going to flatten it out. Piece of wood. Put masking tape on this side as well. If I can get the masking tape off the reel without it snapping or tearing. the wood was about 2.5 masking tape lengths. So I can make this the same depth and then cut the side off. And burnish this piece. Drop it. So now I've got my masking tape on this side. All I'm going to do is put a bit of super glue on it. If I can get the lid off. You don't need a lot, but you do need it to spread evenly. And I'm running out of cheap super glue, so I'll have to open my other one in a minute. And I'll have to put the super glue down. And that's that super glue empty. So now all I'm going to do is the side with the masking tape, and I'll hold it as flat as I can and line it up down one side. Like so. And then slightly fold it along the edge. And then while I'm waiting for that, which just takes a couple of seconds, I can turn it over, sharp knife, and I can cut the excess off. Bit there that hasn't stuck down because there's no glue. So add a bit more glue. It's so much faster when you don't have dregs left. And then just hold it down. And a flat piece of wood on top of it. Now, do the same with this piece. And again, cut the excess off. Cloth paper doesn't cut quite as easily as the standard Paper, paper. But it will cut. And there we have a 3 grade sanding block. So now I can get this set up so that it's nice and flat. Get a clamp, just clamp down inside of it to keep it from moving, and then I can work this section and then move the clamp over and work this section. I'm going to start with the 60. Just move you a bit so you can see. And looks like I can keep my hand flat against it, use my other hand to push it, and go with the grain which moves in that direction. So this might take me a couple of minutes, but you can already see the pattern starting to come through. So once I've got it so that the excess around the edges has been removed and it's just the main pattern, I'll move on to a finer grit. So as you can see, I've got this section done. I'm going to move the clamp over so I can do this section now. I'm still on the 60 grit. Right, because it's moving around quite a lot when I've got it on the thin side, because this is like a wedge shape, what I'm going to do is block off this side so that it can't move this way, and then when I wedge it on this side it has to sit flat. So again, masking tape. Because we've just decorated in here, I'm out of my thick masking tape, but thin will suffice. Definitely need to do a consumables run. I'm out of masking tape, super glue, all sorts. So, burnish it. And you can see the difference when you've burnished it. This is the section that I've just burnished. And you can see the colour difference, where this is nice and tightly bonded and this will move easily, which is why we burnish it. And then put it on, move it slightly just to spread it around, and put some weight on it. This side, because all I'm using is another piece of the birch, I'm just going to clamp this one down. Clamp it so that this sits flat against that and holds this up level. And then no matter what I try and do, when I'm putting downward pressure on it, it's not moving anywhere. So. But it won't move laterally, I forgot about that. So, a bit of blue tack, just on there, push it into it, and there we go, sorted. Simple fixes. And if you try going crazy with it and going really fast and going like that with a bit of flat paper, you're going to scratch the crap out of the wood. If you go nice and slow and steady, you're still going to remove material fairly quickly, and you're not going to have massive scratches that you need to try and work out. So now that I've got the excess removed, I can move on to the 100 grit. But already you can see obviously it's turning out quite nice. So if you get yourself a little sweeping brush, you can clean off your paper. And this paper isn't going to be worn out after doing just this piece. You know, this will last. So there we go. Now if you want to finish it with a varnish, you can do, but I don't want any kind of sheen to it. I want it to just be quite flat, so I want to leave it as is. In the future I might potentially put a couple of highlights on it or something, but for now that is a simple matte finish inlay.